Okay, welcome back. Now we have created our ammo 9mm BP pickup, and we are ready to start making this pickup work correctly. So one of the things we'll notice is that we have this area sphere. And the area sphere is something that will collide or overlap rather with the player. And the player will then be able to pick it up if that area sphere is overlapping with them. So the area sphere can be increased in radius with the sphere radius. So let's go ahead and make that bigger. Let's make it something like, 180 or so. And we can always uncheck hidden in game, so that way if we press play, we can see how big it is. So if we go ahead and press play, we can see the sphere. If we are not overlapping with it, we cannot pick it up. If we are overlapping with it and we pick it up, then we'll see something strange happen. And that is that the interpolation didn't look quite right. Now let's figure out why that is. If we go back into our C++ item.cpp class, we have this set item properties function. And this has different states. It has a switch statement, which has the different states for the item state enum. And you'll see that we're setting properties on the item mesh, the area sphere, and the collision box. But we're not using the item mesh for our ammo, we're using the ammo mesh. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this here so we can look at it. In the ammo.h file, you'll see that we created this ammo mesh, and the reason we did that instead of using the item mesh is because item mesh is a skeletal mesh component, and our ammo meshes are static meshes, so we need to use a static mesh component for that. Now, since we're using a static mesh component, our set item properties function is not going to set the properties for our ammo mesh because it specifically sets the properties for item mesh. Now, we do want the function to be called still because it sets the properties for the area sphere and the collision box, so all of that is fine. We just need to also set the properties for the ammo mesh. This is a good opportunity to override this function. So we can make this function virtual and then override it in the ammo class. So let's go to item.h and look for our set item properties function. Here we have it, set item properties. We can go ahead and make this function virtual. And now we can override it in ammo.h. So let's go ahead and copy this. And in ammo.h, in our protected section, we're going to say virtual void set item properties override. Now let's give this a comment, and we're going to say override of set item properties so we can set ammo mesh properties. Now let's go ahead and make a function body for this. So I'm going to copy this, and in ammo.cpp I'm going to create the function body. I'm going to remember to fully qualify the function name, and I'm also going to call super set item properties and pass in that state parameter. So that way we're still calling the item set item properties function, and we're getting all of this functionality to happen. The only difference is in our ammo version, we're going to do some additional things. We're going to add our own switch statement that will set the properties for our ammo mesh. So here in item.cpp, let's take this switch statement and copy it. So I'm highlighting the entire switch statement and copying that. And here in ammo.cpp, I'm going to go ahead and paste it. Now, instead of the item mesh, we're going to use the ammo mesh. And we only need to set the properties for the mesh since we're calling super set item properties, which will take care of the area sphere and the collision box. So we can go ahead and delete the setting of the properties for the area sphere and the collision box. So let's go ahead and delete all those from each of these switch cases. Okay, I'll delete this one from the falling state, and I'll delete this one from the equip interping state. And we also don't need to set the pickup widget visibility. That's also done in the super version. Okay, so that leaves the item mesh. Now, instead of item mesh, we're going to use ammo mesh and set these properties for the ammo mesh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the whole switch statement, and I'm going to use Control-Shift-F. This is a Visual Studio trick to use find and replace. And I'm going to click replace in files. And for find, I'm going to type item mesh. And for replace, I'm going to type ammo mesh. Now we're going to leave match case and match whole word checked. And for lookin, we'll leave it at current document, and we'll have the little button set for current selection. Go ahead and click replace all, and we'll see 19 occurrences replaced. Go ahead and click OK, close out of that, and now we have ammo mesh for all of these instead of item mesh. So now set item properties. When it gets called, we'll call the parent version, which will set all the properties for the other components. And in addition, we will set those properties for ammo mesh as well. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and compile this. Okay, so we've compiled. Now we're back in the editor. I'm going to go ahead and press play and pick up this item. And now it seems to interpret just fine. Okay, perfect. We don't need to keep this area sphere visible. We can check hidden in game. That's fine. So I'll go ahead and compile and save that. That's going to conclude this video. In the next video, we're going to continue with our functionality for this. We're going to actually do something when we pick up this item. We have an ammo count for each type of ammo. So we're going to add some actual functionality to our ammo pickup. So stay tuned.